listening to the Why Boarding School podcast, broadcasting around the world. Join us as we promote independent boarding schools throughout the United States and Canada with our invited guests. Now, here's your host, Dr. Jeffrey Quebec.
Welcome to the Why Boarding School podcast. I'm Jeff Quebec, and today I'm joined by the Director of Admissions at Brentwood College School in Mill Bay, British Columbia, Clayton Johnston. Welcome, Clayton. It's great to have you here today.
Great to be here. Thanks for having me.
With a wonderful history dating back to 1923, Brentwood College has the distinction of being the first all-boys boarding school in Canada, and they went coeducational in 1972. Clayton, perhaps you can start off by giving our audience a brief overview of the number of students at Brentwood College School, the grades you offer, where the students come from, etc.
Sure. We are Canada's largest boarding population. We're a school of 535 students right now, 80% of which are boarding. So it's something we're really proud of is the boarding aspect of our school, because as you know, many schools have boarding, but they're not defined by their boarding. So we're really proud of that. Yeah.
And where is it your students are coming from?
So one of our differentiators, we have, I'll talk a little later perhaps about, we have 12 differentiators because, you know, when you look at school websites and you read about them, they all kind of look the same. So we really wanted to, you know, it never rains in the brochure, everybody's smiling, things like that. So one of our differentiators is our diversity. So we're 80% North American. I want anybody who comes from another country to have a North American experience. We have almost 50 American students here as well. But we're from 52 countries around the world, so I only take a few from any one country. And one of the things we're really proud of is the diversity aspect.
Oh, that's great. So, Clayton, what is the academic curriculum like at Brentwood College School?
It's an advanced placement curriculum. So they graduate with a British Columbia certificate, which is recognized worldwide, and we have 26 advanced placement courses that they can choose from.
Can you talk a little bit about the academic support that Brentwood offers through your Learning Center?
Sure. I mean, kind of the last thing you would ever have to do here is get a tutor. 60% of the teachers live on campus, so there's always that support around. We have peer tutors available 4 days a week. We also have a learning center staffed by 3 people for those who have IEPs or psych eds, and it can be anything from some ADHD to test anxiety to organizational issues, things like that.
Clayton, can you tell me a little bit about the visual and performing arts offerings at Brentwood?
So one of the other differentiators about our school is at Brentwood, you can literally access more extracurricular opportunities than any boarding school in the world. And I've yet to be proven wrong. I've been here 30 years. So we have a really unique timetable. And in the arts afternoons, we have 3 art afternoons where the entire school population is involved in the arts. There are 40 choices to choose from. So on the visual arts side, there's the typical pottery and photography and things like that, but we have technical arts, performing arts, and speech arts as well.
So in addition to that, would you say, or perhaps there are any signature programs that are offered at Brentwood College School?
Well, we've had 28 Olympians come out of our school, 26 of which were rowers. I think we're known for that, but it isn't our biggest program, and we don't have a defining program necessarily. We've had very strong programs across the board, I would say.
So to sort of piggyback off the rowing, how about, just in general, the athletic program? Are students required to play a sport every season?
They are.
What are some of the athletic offerings at Brentwood College
So
School?
3 days a week, all the students are participating in sports. You can either do, I want to learn a sport. Like we have 7 girls volleyball teams. I think I lost my hair coaching the B, C, D team or something. Right up to we have high performance athletes, obviously, with the Olympians. The last 13 Olympics, we've had a Brentwood athlete in them. So it's pretty cool.
That's awesome. That's awesome. And so what we're going to do here, Clayton, we're going to take a quick little break. When we come back, we're going to continue our conversation about the Brentwood College School in Mill Bay, British Columbia.
Do you have any questions or guests that you'd like to see on an upcoming Why Boarding School podcast? You can contact us directly through our website at whyboardingschool.com. Now, back to our show.
Welcome back to the Why Boarding School podcast, and I'm joined by the Director of Admissions at Brentwood College School in Mill Bay, British Columbia, Clayton Johnston. And Clayton, as we continue our conversation, perhaps you can share with our audience, what's a typical school day like at Brentwood College School?
Sure, they're up at 7 unless you're a rower. You're up earlier. School starts at 8:15, and because we go to school 6 days a week, we can end our school day earlier, so it's pure academics in the morning. There's no PE, arts, drama. It's like getting up and going to work. At 1:15, they're done for lunch, and you don't have to go back into class after lunch. Monday, Wednesday, Friday, everybody's involved in the arts. Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, everybody's involved in sports. 5 evenings a week, they're in the room studying. We call it prep. 3 classes Saturday, sports, full school-wide fun activity every Saturday night. Sunday's the day off, and we put buses on to the local mountain if they want to go skiing in the winter, and just a really neat day on campus. So it's a pretty full week, full day.
So it sounds like there's a lot of activities not on campus, but also some trips off campus too.
Absolutely, yeah.
Great. So how about the meals? The important question about food. What are the meals like? Are they served sit down? Are they buffet? Are they required? How does that work at Brentwood?
Yeah, so we understand that it is a very important aspect of any young person's life is eating. So we don't hire a company to do our food. We have a full staff of about 35 people, 2 executive chefs. We try to attempt the 100-mile diet. We're right on the ocean, which is one of our differentiators. We have a kilometer, almost a mile of oceanfront. So the local fish produce, the local farms, it's spectacular food. The kids will say that this is one of their favorite things about the school because we know it's important.
Well, that is very important, right? The last thing you want to do is be calling home and complaining about
That's
the
right.
food.
That's right.
So how about dorm life? What's dorm life like at Brentwood?
Yeah, there's 4 boarding houses for boys, 4 for girls. There's 3 teachers and their families living in every boarding house. That's how we get 60% of the teachers on campus, part of it. The houses range from 48 to 58 students, 2 in a room. We typically will try to put kids of their own grade in the same room together as much as possible.
So in addition to the dormitory house parents, is there also an advisor system at Brentwood?
Yeah, so all of our teachers have houses they do duty in and they're affiliated with. And every student has an advisor that they meet with as part of the actual academic morning, a half hour every week. But they also do duty in the house, and they're available every day in the house as well.
And so that advisor, is that someone who sticks with the student during their entire tenure
Correct.
at Brentwood?
Correct. Yeah.
Great. So Clayton, would you say, is there a typical Brentwood College School student?
You know, I get asked that a lot. I think somebody who's willing to step out of their comfort zone a bit. Our belief, why we have this ability to access all these arts and sports, is we believe this is the only time in life where you can be exposed to all these different things and find a passion. So when students arrive here, they realize it's a really safe place to maybe learn how to dance or learn how to get on stage and do something else. So a willingness to just try, I think, is and by default, you become a well-rounded student at Brentwood because everybody has to do sports, you have to do the arts, everybody's doing it together. So it's just a willingness to be involved.
Well, I like that idea. When it's time for the arts, everyone's doing it.
Everyone's doing it.
That's nice.
When I went to high school, you know, the jocks were over there and the artists were over here. You know, when we did Les Mis as a musical a few years back, a third of our boys' rugby team signed up to be a part of it. They just thought it was really cool to be a part of that. So that's kind of the culture here, which I love.
That's awesome. And once again, to piggyback, to use the sort of teenage term, it's cool to be involved and cool.
It is, yeah.
Participate.
Yeah.
Nice. So Clayton, are there any cool traditions at Brentwood College School that may be unique from other schools, or perhaps there's that one tradition that you hope always remains part of the school?
You know, obviously our location is spectacular. Not many boarding schools are on the Pacific Ocean. You know, we had orcas come in here by the dock. I'm just looking out here. There's a salmon run here. There's 200 seals living in the bay. We have otters living under the dock right there. So the tradition is obviously just being involved in this beautiful environment. But I would say the timetable. It's so unique in the world, and it's the one thing the kids say, please don't change this. You know, all of our Olympians had to be on stage. They had to be in pottery studios and, you know, dance classes and stuff. And it's just a really neat aspect of the school. It creates a really gentle, safe place to be a student.
Yeah, very nice. So before we dive into admissions, is there anything about Brentwood College School that we didn't discuss today that you'd like to mention?
You know, I only have 2 criteria for students coming to Brentwood. One is, so I've been here 30 years. I've been in admissions since 2006. My daughters are about to come into the school in 2008. So I made it one of my criteria that I will only accept students into the school if it's their choice to be here. Nobody's sent to our school. And because of that, we typically have one of the lowest attrition rates in North America for any boarding school. It's the least amount of people leave. So it's sorry, what was the original question?
I was saying, anything else that we didn't discuss you want to discuss about Brentwood and share with
Yeah,
us?
so the two criteria, I'm sorry. So it has to be student's choice, and they have to have the ability to handle a university prep program. So I don't care if you're 7 feet tall, can dunk a basketball, or you can barely walk. It doesn't matter. If you want to be here and you have the ability to handle the program, 100% of our graduates are accepted to university. 80% every year tend to get their first choice. Last year we went to 11 different countries around the world. It just seems to be the magic pill. You know, you want to be here, you have ability, we're going to get you where you need to go, and we're going to expose you to all these incredible things.
Well, it seems like after 30 years, you have the formula down pat. So if someone's interested in Brentwood College School, how might they go about starting the admissions process?
Yeah, it's pretty fluid in Canada in general. We don't do the whole March 10th, April 10th kind of decision making. We have rolling admissions in Canada. So, you know, I travel 3 months of the year around the world attempting to open up new markets, and we accept kids as we move along. You go online, everything's online, you submit the application, and once everything's done or partway done, you can organize an interview either remotely like this or in person. And we have our own tests, but we do accept the SSAT, and it's pretty good. So you could know in October if you're accepted for next September. So it's pretty neat. And for our American students, they can know they're accepted, but we will wait till March, April kind of thing where they're applying to American schools. So at least they know they have us in their back pocket, and it takes the pressure off them, which we like.
And so, Clayton, if these families or these students are interested in pursuing this, what is the website address for Brentwood College?
www.brentwood.ca.
That's pretty easy. Brentwood.ca. Awesome.
That's it.
Well, Clayton, I've enjoyed our conversation. It's been great learning more about Brentwood College School and sharing it with our audience. Thank you very much.
Appreciate you having me here.
Awesome. Clayton Johnston, Director of Admissions, Brentwood College School in Mill Bay, British Columbia.
Thank you for listening to the Why Boarding School podcast. We look forward to you joining us for our next episode. Please remember to subscribe to the Why Boarding School podcast and help us spread the word. Until next time.